Tonight, the country is staring at a constitutional crisis with no functioning IEBC commissioners, 5 by-elections which are long overdue, and of course the date for boundary reviews are just near the corner. And of course, all this into perspective, are we really and where are we heading as a country? Well, that is the big question we are asking tonight, and this is the state of the nation. Good evening and many thanks. Indeed, we have much and more lined up for you. But first thing first, our top stories tonight. Tonight, probing the Embakasi gas explosion. 4 suspects arraigned in court over Embakasi gas explosion as 5 suspects remain at large. Affordable housing and cash. Odinga wants the state to compensate victims of Embakasi gas explosion with 500,000 and a house each. Also tonight, not guilty. Mackenzie and co-accused pleads not guilty over 191 murder charges leveled against them. And brew of death. 5 feared dead after consuming illicit brew in Kirinyaga.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Good evening once again. Samuel Kelo is our sign language interpreter tonight. Remember, you can follow this broadcast on all of our social media platforms. We are live on YouTube at KUTV News Live. You can tweet me on X at Auma Evans. Remember to use the hashtag State of the Nation. Well, we begin tonight with matters justice, where the Shakahola victims of the Shakahola, alongside 3 other national environmental government management authority, NEMA, officials responsible for the Embakasi gas explosion that left 6 dead and scores nursing injuries, has been arrested and arraigned in court today, with Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja ordering for the immediate closure of the gas business operating within the residential estates. Theo Masharia kicks us off tonight.
Derek Kimathi, the prime suspect alongside 3 National Environment Management Authority NEMA officials, have been arrested and arraigned at the Milimani courts today for bearing the greatest responsibility over Thursday night's Embakasi gas explosion that left 6 people dead, 300 suffering different degrees of burns, and approximately 761 people affected. According to a statement released by the DCI this morning, the main suspect and other 3 NEMA officials surrendered to the police. The 3 are David Ongare, the Director Environment Compliance, Joseph Makau, who is the Head Environmental Impact Assessment, and Miriam Kioko. 5 other suspects are still on the run and wanted by the DCI to answer to their crimes that have caused untold physical and emotional suffering to fellow Kenyans. They include Stephen Kilonzo, who is the site manager, and Kaburi Mirungi of NEMA, Lynette Cheruiyot, who is the NEMA senior environmental officer, truck drivers Robert Gitau and Abraham Mwangi. The NEMA officials have since been suspended for allegedly issuing a license illegally to Kimathi's company. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, while visiting some of the bereaved families of the Mradi Estate fire incident, ordered for the immediate closure of gas businesses operating within residential estates, stating that a list of the targeted premises will be released and have the premises shut down immediately.
Kote Nairobi we know where such operations should be. List imepatikana leo na zifunga zote ambazo ziko kwa maestri za watu. Zote zinafungwa leo. Sawa sawa? Because life is more important than money. Maisha ni muhimu kuliko pesa.
The government continues to condole with the families of those who lost their dear lives and wishes for the quick recovery of those recuperating in various healthcare facilities. Theo Masharia for KUTV.
Let's stay with that story for a bit. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition has continued to blame the government for the unfortunate fire incident in Nairobi's Embakasi area that left hundreds of residents homeless. The opposition now wants the government to take responsibility by offering accommodation for the victims and taking legal action against the involved parties. Anyango Sylvia has that report.
While visiting the gas explosion victims earlier today at the Kenyatta National Hospital, the opposition donated 3 million shillings to the victims, as each of the 34 victims admitted at the facility received 20,000 Kenyan shillings. Opposition leader Raila Odinga outlined that the national government ought to offer medical bill waiver to the victims as well as accommodation to those rendered homeless.
We have been told that the county government gave a waiver in all those institutions that are under the care of the county government. We want the national government to do the same here, to also waive the bills for all the victims who have been brought to this hospital here.
Following the allegations by the opposition of victims being forced out of the social hall last night, the leaders demanded that the victims be given first priority in the allocation of the already completed affordable housing in Ngara here in Nairobi.
There's already affordable housing scheme that has been completed. Let these people be the first beneficiaries and tenants of that scheme. So we urge Mr. Ruto to come out and act instead of just shouting at the State House.
Ruto, our wananchi wako over 300 in number. Our wananchi wote hawana mahali pa kuenda. Our wananchi wapewe zile affordable houses zenye zimeisha. Hawa ndio the real hustlers. Watolewe hapa, kuna affordable houses pale Ngara ambazo zimeisha. Kila mtu apewe kama Ruto ako genuine.
Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, on the other hand, accused the government of corruption, claiming that the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority (EPRA), together with the county government of Nairobi, overlooked citizen safety and offered license to the company despite its location being close to a residential area.
Kitu kikubwa zaidi ndani ya serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ni ufisadi. Ni ufisadi ambao unapelekea kwamba mtu anaweza weka mradi kama huu nje ya nyumba za wananchi mahali wanaishi. Alafu mtu anajifanya haoni hii mradi. Ni kwa sababu macho yake yamefungwa na nini? Pesa. Tunataka wiki ijayo waje mbele ya bunge huyo bwana Kipto atuambie ni kwa nini alikubali mradi huu kuendelea wakati ambapo anahatarisha maisha ya wananchi.
Azimio continues to accuse the government of negligence of duty, blaming authorities given the mandate of inspection and supervision. The coalition has, however, vowed to sue EPRA together with the county government of Nairobi for the Embakasi explosion. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Now switching gears to the corridors of justice. The controversial preacher Paul Thenge Mackenzie and 29 of his close associates on Tuesday denied 191 counts of murder in infamous Shakahola massacre. The 30 appeared before the High Court Judge Mugure Thande and denied murdering 191 children, most of whom were unidentified, a crime the state says was committed between the year 2021 and 2023 and at the Shakahola forest in Kilifi County. Vivian Odhiambo now reports.
The probe on the Shakahola massacre against controversial Pastor Paul Mackenzie continues to take shape. While appearing before Judge Mugure Thande, Mackenzie and 29 of his allies denied the counts of murder leveled against them. One of the suspects, Evans Colombe, however, did not take plea as a psychiatrist report indicated that he was mentally ill and was not fit to stand for trial. According to the Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, Victor Muli, Mr. Syria will continue undergoing mental treatment for 30 days, after which he would be re-examined to establish if he will be fit to take the plea.
Court lacks the jurisdiction to entertain any objection or any application. In light of this, I direct that all accused persons shall proceed to take plea, save for accused number 4, who shall undergo medical treatment and be reviewed after 1 month as recommended by the consultant psychiatrist who examined him.
Lady Justice Thande, however, ordered the accused persons to continue being remanded at the Shimola Teo Maximum Prison until March 7th, when the case will come up to determine the outcome of the preliminary objection filed by the defense lawyer James Mwoko.
The application for bond is deferred until after the ruling on the PO, highlighting of submissions on the 7th of March 2024.
His application, Mr. Mwako argues that the charge sheet was erroneous as it contained 191 counts as opposed to the required 12 per charge sheet as ruled by the Court of Appeal in another case. Due to large numbers of charges and accused persons, the accused pleaded to be charged in unison, despite Mackenzie's request that all the accused persons to be required to plead individually. The 30 defendants are back in court on March 7th for a bond hearing. Odhiambo Vivian, KUTV.
Now from Kilifi to Kirinyaga, residents in Kangai, Kirinyaga County mourn the life of their loved one who consumed illicit brew from a local pub famously known as California. 5 people have been reported dead and 6 others with blurred vision. According to the villagers, the affected people were rushed to the nearest dispensary, while one victim with the extreme cases reported in the dispensary was rushed to Krigoya General Hospital. The illicit brew contained traces of ethanol, which caused the blurred vision.
Sasa niseme kwamba California ambayo ni Kangai want yenye nasikia ikisemekana walikuwa huko haijakuwa licensed, tulifanya inspections na committee ilika reject hiyo bar. So kama mwenye bar na operate ni vizuri kwa sababu anjue hiyo klabu iko rejected, it's not supposed to be operating.
Kangai pombe ikuise. Si ndio tunasema ikuise pombe ikuise kabisa. Na sinjui pale inawekwa. Muangalie tena pale inawekwa itolewe na matiramu.
Now, several youths from Thika, Kiambu County have been disqualified in the ongoing National Youth Service, that is NYS, recruitment taking place across the country after they were discovered to have tattoos. It is reported that although most of them met the academic physical fitness test, they were found ineligible because of the tattoos. Most of the disqualified youth say the decision was made while in high school when they did not have a better understanding. However, other youths were ineligible after they falsify their details, including location.
Wazazi wetu ni vizuri tuongeleshe watoto wetu. Hii mambo ya kuchora tattoo, wale watu wamedisqualifyiwa hapa ni kwa sababu walikuwa na tattoo kwa mikono yao na hawezi enda kazi ya serikali wakiwa na hizo tattoo. Kwa hivyo wengi sana wameenda nyumbani kwa sababu ya kwamba wengi wako na tattoo na hao wengine vitambulisho zao zinasoma place nyingine apart from hapa Thika.
Ndio nimepatwa niko na tattoo. Na hiyo tattoo ndio imetuma ni tolewe nje. Nikaambia siwezi endelea juu ya yote nilijichora nikiwa high school. Hiyo time ilikuwa ungeona nikaa big deal. But sasa ndio mtu anasoma yenyewe. Vile mzazi alikuwa anasema ndio inakuja sasa.
Now, the Kenya Pipeline, that is KPLC, has been certified for Jet A1 fuel testing in all its nationwide laboratories by the International Standard Organization. This accreditation is expected to decrease inspection time for jet fuel by 17 hours, ultimately minimizing the flight disruption and ensuring a reliable and safe jet fuel supply for both local and international operations.
Kenya Pipeline Company PLC is now set for Jet A1 fuel testing in all its laboratories across the country, including Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret, and Kisumu counties. This follows the re-accreditation of the facilities by the International Standard Organization ISO, a move expected to significantly reduce jet fuel testing time. According to Mr. Joe Sang, PLC's managing director, the accreditation is anticipated to reduce inspection time by 17 hours, thus minimizing flight disruption with a reliable and safe jet fuel supply guaranteed.
We've also commercialized, so it will be a new revenue stream for Kenya Pipeline. And we have customers such as Kenya Bureau who will be able to bring their products, petroleum products to us, and we'll be happily able to test for them.
The attainment of ISO 17025 accreditation against the 2017 edition of the standard, as well as is portion of that reaccreditation, places them among 70,000 globally recognized laboratories worldwide.
Elsewhere, recent land price data compiled by the Realtor Has Consult indicates that land values in Ngong, Thika, Syokimau, Mlolongo, Kitengela, and Athi River has risen within the last year. The new land prices indicate that the price of an acre of land in Ngong appreciated by 21.4%, while land in Thika appreciated by 17.8%. With a higher demand for land, these towns have been recording increased prices, largely due to improved accessibility facilitated by major road construction such as Mombasa Road, Thika Road, and Ngong Road, as well as interconnecting roads between the towns themselves. And in matters security, the licenses of 9 private security firms operating in the country has been revoked by the Private Security Regulatory Authority (PSRA) due to non-compliance with the recommended minimum wage requirements, among other reasons. The 9 companies include Seneca East Africa Limited, Superb Marketing Solutions Limited, Salama Fikira International Kenya Limited, Hypora Security Solutions Limited, and Bedrock Security Alarm Systems and Product Limited. Von Kiomoma, KUTV.
Right, we're due for our first break here on KUTV, State of the Nation. And of course, remember, in line with that, our top discussion tonight, where we take track of what is happening as far as the Electoral Independence, Electoral and Boundary Commission is concerned. And of course, our discussion tonight, we pay key emphasis on the crisis at the IEBC. Of course, it has been 1 year and of course some few months without functioning IEBC body. So what is happening there? So that is the question that we, or rather the discussion that we'll be having tonight with my guest, that is Professor Fred Ogola, Governance and Policy Analyst.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday, we ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Now your mom knows about it, and according to her nature, she will definitely humiliate me. And what will other people say?
Listen to me carefully. If you ever claim that Sheba's baby is yours, I'll take you down. Serious. Dylan's an absolute drunkard.
Just give him a break, Nappy.
Okay, but I'm not marrying Zilla.
What are you doing here?
And who the hell is this? You want some?
Just calm down. Be cool.
Get your hands off her, you...
That con man, even from prison he torments us.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. Kama ilivyo kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za taarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi. Ambao ndio uti wa mgongo wa pwani ya Afrika Mashariki.
Jamani swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Hapa KUTV, nahodha mwendesha chombo cha baharini, yani ua linalonukia na kuvutia waridi tamu.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research.
These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
What are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that you are comfortably fitting into the job?
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called the Security Breach Detector and Can Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosive.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Right, welcome back, and just in case if you're joining us right now, this is the State of the Nation, where we talk politics and matters everything in between. And of course, tonight we are taking a look at a very important discussion, and they say the country could be facing, or rather could be staring at, a constitutional crisis. Remember, it has been over a year without, the proper functioning of the IEBC commissioners. And remember, the time for the review of the boundary is just somewhere around the corner. And with that, still the state of the IEBC is not yet known, and how the country can actually operate amid all this, some sort of confusion as far as an independent electoral and boundary commission is concerned. And of course, to help us unpack this, very important discussion and topic for that matter is Professor Fred Ogola, governance and policy analyst. Prof, thank you so much for making time.
Thank you very much, Auma.
All right. Well, Prof, when you take a look at all these the things that are happening around the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission, without the country does not have a proper functioning IEBC officials. We are just the dates set for boundary reviews are just somewhere around the corner, and of course there are like at least five by-elections that have not been held, and of course this to some extent has denied Kenyans in those particular areas their right to actually be represented, and this creates some sort of the confusion regarding the fate of the IEBC. Well, Prof, I'll begin by asking you, did we make a mistake in disbanding the IEBC Commission, and of course without a proper plan?
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother. I think that first and foremost, this constitutional crisis is, I don't think it is something which has caught us by a surprise, because remember, immediately the president won the election and was sworn in, he went in to start the process of constituting IEBC. And of course, the opposition took that to go to the street by saying that the president cannot unilaterally be able to constitute the IEBC without consulting the opposition. And that was one of the reasons why, adding to cost of living, among other issues, like Sava sent them to the streets. Remember, by the time they're going to the street, they already had a select panel, which if the Mandamano did not take place, by now we could have actually IBC commissioners, because the select panel had been sworn in into office, and they had actually called for application for Kenyans who are willing to serve in the commission, and people applied. There was just now a need for them to be shortlisted, gazetted, and therefore the interviews begin. So the process was already there. But you see, the people who tried to disrupt this process was actually opposition. But of course, we don't want to blame the opposition, because they would not be stopped from going to the seat because of IBC. At the same time, the opposition was saying that if we go to election with the IBC selected by one side, then they will bring legitimate issues about the election. And I think the president and the Kenya Kwanza government agreed with them, and they began the process. Unfortunately, we thought that NADCO report was supposed to be fast-tracked and lead to the establishment of an IBC commission. But now you see there's a standoff between the opposition and the Kenya Kwanza government. Unfortunately, so that opposition took Kenyans to the street, and then instead of focusing on getting the results which was supposed to gotten from through NADCO report, now we're having a situation whereby NADCO reports looks like a baby, looks like a baby who is an orphan. So it looks like Kenya Kwanza doesn't want to relate with it. Azimio says that that report is among the most useless reports, like all other commissions, and it has actually spent the Kenyan money. So I think that that is not fair. But nevertheless, what you are saying, constitutional crisis, there is likelihood of a constitutional crisis. Nevertheless, there is the doctrine of necessity. In case there would be a crisis of that point, still there are provisions that actually can allow us to move on. Our life cannot end, because even if you put the commission's office today, if they are selected today, they still cannot be able, within the timelines given, be able to delineate the boundaries. But also, don't forget the fact that the Boundaries Commission is a hot potato. Why am I trying to say it's a hot potato? It was supposed to be done during President Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure, but realizing that if he was supposed to cut the boundaries, because some constituencies do not even qualify to be constituencies. For example, if you look at Lamu County, which has a population of around 74,000 voters, and yet we have a constituency which has over 200,000 voters. There are some counties that have less voters than actually some constituencies. So will they cease to be counties? How will you be able to delineate these boundaries? Which means that some positions might be wiped out. I don't know, politicians. Should you take out any county from them, yet some of them want more counties added? Or should you wipe out some constituency using the quota system proposed by the Constitution? You may realize that could have actually caused trouble. So what happened is that Uhuru Kenyatta pushed the bucket to Ruto by saying, we have 2 more years, and judges were able to declare that we have more 2 years, and those 2 years are now falling right into William Ruto's first years of presidency, and that's why it is a hot potato. William Ruto finds also a hot potato because should he cut the number of representations now, means some members of parliament might lose their jobs, and remember that some of them might actually start now looking for ways to dig him, to fight him. Remember, they can actually gang up with opposition and even do impeachment. So it's a very hot potato for William Ruto. But even Raila Odinga as well, because if some of the constituencies touch in his areas, they will also be resigning. So I can tell you, if you like it, Raila Odinga would like to talk about this matter. William Ruto fears this issue, and everybody else finds this issue a very, very sensitive issue.
Prof, let me take you back to this the NADCO report, and of course the High Court judge, that is Judge Mugure Thanda, of course, was clear about this. She said political truth does not override the Constitution, and of course that is now the big discussion that many people are having. And remember, at this particular point, we have a group that rather than NADCO report, and of course they agree on mechanism that could constitute the selection panel of the selection panel that could actually advocate or rather institute the process of now selecting the IEBC commissioners. And this is something that was agreed upon, but now the question is, when can it start? And that is the big question, because both sides are in support of this process, and this is actually one of the areas that they are in agreement as far as the selection panel is concerned. So this particular decision by the High Court that says that they do not recognize the NADCO report as anchored in the Constitution. At the same time, this is a framework that could actually be used to now try to cure some areas, or rather some bone of contention between the two conflicting sides. Don't you think it's an area that maybe can put a country in some sort of a limbo?
I think the justice standard is very correct, because Linda Jamii, I'm the leader of Linda Jamii, we went to Bomas and I told them that NADCO committee was unconstitutional. It was not anchored on law. It cannot be referenced even within the law. It can only be expunged from court records if anybody tries to use them. And they are right that there is a political truth. In fact, the select panel can begin their work of selecting the commissioners, because actually people applied, they have the applications. They can just shortlist and go on to interview the commissioners, the applicants, and then end up to appoint the commissioners. They can actually go on and do that. And I do not think there's a crisis. The only crisis is the time period for the boundaries delimitation. But what we can do is that the boundaries are delineated now, they might not affect the next election, because that's why the Constitution is very clear that how long do we need to do them before the next election? So they can say, Parliament can do this again. I remember Jesus said to his disciples that the law was not made, the human beings were not made for the law, but the law was made for human beings. And I'm sure that the sovereignty of the people also in the Constitution, you can revoke some articles of the Constitution to give you a breathing space so that you can push this implementation or that is the next term. So I think there's a constitutional windfall. But I saw some people saying that should the president die now and his deputy, who actually can be able to continue? Remember that the arms of government are, we have the judiciary, we have the legislature, we have the executive. You could even see either the head of the judiciary or legislature taking up oath of office and then executing that office of the presidency and ensuring that things continue. Remember, the president is the head of government, which means that the government has got three arms. So any of the president, either of parliament or that of the Supreme Court, can still be able to move on. So I do not see whether there is a crisis as such. There might be a political crisis, but not necessarily a constitutional crisis. Because if these people die, and what are the chances they are going to die? No, I think also we have to believe that they are going to be alive. But at the same time, faith is not a strategy. So I see that there's a bit of a challenge, if you like. There's a bit of, let's say, unease, but I won't call it a crisis, because the fathers of the Constitution could have not just forgotten some clauses that can help as a landing clause. What people are fearing is that what if there is any challenge with the president that he cannot be able to function from office? Maybe he could be able to get deputy who might pick up the commissioners unilaterally who need to go for an election, which will be a snap election within 90 days. Those are just fears, but there is no constitutional crisis as such.
Prof, when you look at the whole issue, we have like the date set for boundary reviews is on 24th. That is the time. So we're just a couple of days before the lapsing of that set time, and there is some constituency that could actually be affected. For example, let's say a constituency like Othaya, for instance. when we don't do these reviews, the boundary reviews as stated by the Constitution, don't you think the people from Othaya constituency rather could be actually affected by this delayed boundary reviews as stated in the Constitution? Don't you think that could put some sort of a crisis, the constitutional crisis?
The Constitution is clear that if you do not review them by that date, then these constituencies that were supposed to be reviewed disappears. Is that what the Constitution says? If it says so, then of course the people of Othaya will have suffered. But then it's not a permanent damage, because then there must be a timeline on which another review will be scheduled. Of course, that might take long. Remember also, the Constitution is not self-deterministic. Remember also, we have parliament that can still be able to make laws. They can go and amend that part of the Constitution. Remember, you just need to pass a bill in parliament and amend that act, and that act becomes law, and therefore it's not binding. So there are still provisions that I can have. They can even go and apply for more days. And for example, that we have constitutional law. They can also be able to rule on some of the provisions, how that can be implemented. The judiciary, if you like, headed by the Supreme Court, can be called to reign upon interpretation of that issue when crisis emerges. Remember, there was a time when there was a crisis as to when exactly is the Constitution saying we need to have an election. And Supreme Court made a decision, and that's why nowadays we vote the day we vote, because people used to vote in December. And the Constitution of 2010 wasn't clear exactly which date during time when Kibaki was the president. Remember, those things are always there. But whenever there's a constitutional challenge, we have judiciary that can be able to interpret the circumstances. I'm sure even in our families, we have people whom, when there's a challenge, there are prophets who can prophesy how things need to happen. So the people trying to create a crisis are just trying to say there's a crisis. There's just people who feel unease. Kuna tumbo joto, lakini hatuwezi sema kuna crisis. That's my position. But nevertheless, it's going to affect some people positively and some people negatively. For example, the people of Othaya, when now their position is questionable, whether they are going to have a member of parliament or not, those things creates unease. But I can tell you, even if those constituencies disappear, they will still we should find mechanisms upon which the people of Othaya can still get government services, because this country is overrepresented. I see we have almost 300 members of parliament. Why do we need them? Yet they do nothing. Sometimes you find that people feel the members of parliament left them a long time ago. They passed a very bad draconian bill that is really giving people a lot of challenge, that the court has actually gone into reigning to block it from being implemented. So imagine what the MPs decided. Judiciary has come to turn around, which means that there are still more provisions for us to be able to run this country without over-relying on these MPs. So I believe people there should remain peaceful. Remember that if it's about CDF, every region, they can actually be found themselves in another county, and maybe they can go to parliament and allocate more money to those constituencies which will be made whenever they are going to be reviewed. So I do not see a serious challenge as such. Nevertheless, I can tell you, we are here because the president, this is my guess, and also Raila Odinga feels that this is the right place to be. What are these people fearing? These people are fearing because there are so many Kenyans who came with so many bills who want to take to IEBC, but the fact that there's no IEBC, people cannot amend. Remember, Linda Jamii, where I'm a leader, came up with a bill that we should recommend that any sitting deputy president cannot contest for an election immediately his boss leaves office to avoid.
Right. Well, that is some bit of technical hitch here and there, and of course we are working on that. Of course, this is quite a very interesting discussion about the state of affairs. We call it the state of the nation as far as matters politics, governance and leadership is concerned, and we are taking toll on matters to do with the crisis, the sort of, the looming crisis in the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission. And of course, the country has been without the functioning commissioners for almost, a year, or rather maybe 1 year and some few months in regard to that. And of course, we have some boundaries, of course, that we need to review in just a matter of time, because the set date is almost lapsing, and because of that, so that is the discussion that we have been taking toll on, giving track and taking sharp focus on what is happening as far as the state of the nation is concerned. Remember, you can be part of this discussion by talking to us on all of our social media platforms. You can talk to me on my X at Auma Events. Remember to use the hashtag State of the Nation. So let's take a short break. When we come back, plenty more to follow.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin.
KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Alright, welcome back. The discussion continues. Remember, I have my guest, that is Fred Ogola, Professor Fred Ogola, Governance and Policy Analyst. And of course, Prof, before we went on that short break, we were taking count on what is happening in the country as far as the IEBC commissioners and all things to do with the boundary review is concerned. And of course, as we even wind up this particular discussion, of course, there is an issue that there is a clear order from Malindi High Court, of course, giving a nod to the IEBC selecting panel to proceed and of course fast track this process, and within the shortest time possible, a country should be having the commissioners, including the chairman. Well, when you look at this particular process and the court order, and of course now we have the NADCO report that proposes the same process of first of all selecting the panel now so that they can commence the process of selecting the commissioners. So how do you balance between the two conflicting side? One is against the law and the other one is about how the governance of the country should be. So how do you do or deal about it?
Thank you very much, Evans. You see, the main thing we have to understand is that the selection of the IBC, though looks a legal process, actually is a political process. Because if the two sides do not agree, and if opposition feels that we are going into an election with an IBC which is partisan to any side, then we are going to have a challenge, because elections can be rejected. And Kenyans know only too well the challenge of a rejected election, it means that country will be in a standstill. But not even the IBC. I'm also thinking that they should also discuss about the way on which Supreme Court or the judiciary in general can still have the blessings of Kenyans, because some Kenyans believe that the decision which was made at the Supreme Court during the election was not the right one to be done. But I will just say I'm not afraid of this constitutional crisis because already we have a lot of them. Remember that in the Constitution, there's what we call a right to food, a right to clean water, a right to education, a right to safe, reliable health. Those have never been given to Kenyans, yet we don't call them constitutional crises. Remember, the Bill of Rights in Kenya is the most advanced Bill of Rights in the world because it promises Kenyans things that every citizen needs to get in any part of the world. But why are those not constitutional crises, yet selecting people in terms of who become the president, who become the MP, who becomes the senator, governor, those becomes crises. I think we need to know what a crisis. The fact that people can die in a place, for example, the one we have in Bakassi, and there is no proper way to deal with that situation. Someone can run a business without license. Someone can be licensed in an area where license can never.
Fair enough, Prof. Because of time and I would have really wished we have this, discussion, but because of time is not on our side. So thank you so much, Prof, for, that is very insightful, thoughts about the state of affairs and what is happening in the country as far as this IEBC, dilemma is concerned. Well, of course, Prof, thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you very much, Evans. God bless. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, now let's proceed. Now, the county government of Kajiado has been urged to put in place measures to counter fire outrages. This comes a few days after the fire outbreak in Kitengela left over 30 families without shelter. More stories in the county wrap with Gracious Aganda.
Kenya Pipeline Company PLC is now set for Jet A1 fuel testing in all its laboratories across the country, including Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret, and Kisumu counties. This follows the re-accreditation of the facilities by the International Standard Organization ISO, a move expected to significantly reduce jet fuel testing time. According to Mr. Joe Sang, PLC's managing director, the accreditation is anticipated to reduce inspection time by 17 hours, thus minimizing flight disruption with a reliable and safe jet fuel supply guaranteed.
We've also commercialized, so it will be a new revenue stream for Kenya Pipeline. And we have customers such as Kenya Bureau who will be able to bring their products, petroleum products to us, and we'll be happily able to test for them.
The attainment of ISO 17025 accreditation against the 2017 additional standard, as well as is portion of that reaccreditation, places them among 70,000 globally recognized laboratories worldwide.
Elsewhere, recent land price data compiled by the Realtor Has Consult indicates that land values in Ngong, Thika, Syokimau, Mlolongo, Kitengela, and Athi River has risen within the last year. The new land prices indicate that the price of an acre of land in Ngong appreciated by 21.4%, while land in Thika appreciated by 17.8%. With a higher demand for land, these towns have been recording increased prices, largely due to improved accessibility facilitated by major road construction such as Mombasa Road, Thika Road, and Ngong Road, as well as interconnecting roads between the towns themselves. And
sports now. Gor Mahia striker Benson Omala moved to Algeria-based side JS Saoura collapse at the last minutes due to unavailability of foreign slots at the club. On Monday, Gor Mahia gave Omala go-ahead to join Algerian club JS Saoura on a 6-month loan deal that will have seen Gor Mahia pocket $3.2 million for the loan deal, while Omala was to earn a monthly salary of 1.3 million with an option of making the move permanent. It is believed that Gor Mahia's forward move to the Algerian side collapsed after Gor Mahia's clearance arrived late, forcing the club to turn their attention to another target, to a Congolese forward Karl Wunda Ngana. And now it's official, Kelvin Kiptum is the marathon world record holder. This is after the World Athletics governing body on Tuesday ratified Kelvin Kiptum's world marathon record of 2 hours 35 seconds set in Chicago last year. Kiptum became the first athlete to break 2 hours and 1 minute in a record-eligible marathon, taking 34 seconds off the world record at the Bank of America Chicago Marathon on the 8th of October, the year 2023. Kiptum will be eyeing to run under sub 2 hours in the Rotterdam Marathon scheduled for April 14th, 2024. Right, it's a wrap for us here on KUTV State of the Nation. Of course, my name is Auma Evans. Samuel Kelo has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Until next time, it's a bye-bye and do have a lovely night. Goodbye.